Hello everybody, welcome back or welcome to my channel. Today we are reading a Todoroki Ex-Listener by actually a Hawk Simp on Wattpad. I hope you all enjoy this video, and also Merry Christmas to you all. I hope you all have a magical, wonderful day, because you all deserve it. And so I don't keep wasting our time, let's get into the video. It was the day before holiday break. You were sitting with your other friends as you talked. Todoroki quietly sitting and listening to the conversations. You were talking with the girls about what they would do for their breaks. You listened carefully to each detail they told you, wanting to absorb all the information before you turned to Todoroki and asked him the same question. "What are your plans, Shoto?" you asked him. He looked at you with a blank expression, something you'd grown used to. You used to take it personally when you didn't get a reaction out of him, but you quickly learned that it wasn't because of you. Shoto was just very good at hiding his emotions and thoughts. He didn't wear them on his sleeve like most do. Considering how he was brought up, this didn't surprise you even a little bit. "Oh, I don't celebrate the holidays at my house," he told you. You raised your eyebrows in shock. "Wait, not even a Christmas tree?" you asked him. He only stared at you. "No, Endeavor always works even on holidays, and my sister isn't ever able to convince us to do anything," he told you. You sighed and rested your head on your hand. "Well, do you at least have a good holiday memory?" you asked him. He looked down slightly and thought. He looked back up at you. "Before my mom went away, she took us ice skating," he told you. You smiled softly. "Wow, I've never been ice skating. That sounds like a lot of fun," you told him. He didn't respond. Instead, he lost himself in thought, trying to figure out how in the world you hadn't gone ice skating before. He thought that since he'd done it, that most people had. He didn't get to do much as a child, so when he did get to, he thought it was normal childhood thing for every child to do. After class, he slipped away after giving you a quick hug. You didn't question his behavior. He would sometimes do that as his goodbye for when he was in a rush, so you just accepted the hug and continued on with your day. It wasn't until a while later when you were in your dorm playing on your phone when you started worrying. He normally texted you by now, even if it was just to make sure you were okay, but you hadn't heard anything from him since you left this afternoon. Worry filled your chest as you opened the text log. "Shoto, everything okay?" "Yes." "Okay, what are you doing?" "Working. I'll talk to you soon." And that was it. No more response from him. You sighed heavily and rolled over to the side. This wasn't really like Shoto. It was concerning you that he was ignoring you like this, especially since the two of you would be leaving for home in the morning. After a while, you heard a knock on your door. You shot up from your bed and walked over, anxious to know if Shoto had finally come to see you. You were slightly disappointed to see it was not Shoto. Instead, a green-haired boy with freckles scattered over his face stood in front of you. He was dressed in his heavy coat and some jeans. "Oh, hey Midoriya," you said, your tone slightly upset. He didn't seem to notice, though, a smile lighting up his face. "Hey," he responded. You leaned on the door slightly and waited for him to continue. "Me and a few others are gonna go hang out. Wanna come?" You thought about his request for a moment. You were really worried about Shoto, but you needed to get your mind off of it. He was probably just busy with something, and that's why he isn't responding. Maybe he's training. He has been really stressed about it lately. Finally, you told him you would go. You closed the door and turned on your heel to get ready. You put on some jeans and a sweater and a heavy coat. You grabbed your favorite knee-high boots, slipped some socks on, and then placed them onto your feet before standing to grab your phone and bag. You met out with Midoriya, and he smiled at you before leading you down the hall. What was this? 1 second, you thought you were hanging out with your friends, and the next, you were standing in front of a medium-sized ice lamp with poles around it, hanging lights. Shoto stood in front of it like he'd been waiting for you. You were shocked, if anything else. You looked at Midoriya, but he was already walking away, a small smile on his face as he looked down at his phone. You looked back at Shoto, slowly starting to walk towards him. "What is all of this?" you asked him. Once you got closer, for the first time in a while, he smiled gently at you. Your face warmed at the sight. You loved his smile, and lately he'd been way too stressed to even try and smile. But now here he was, the lights beaming down on the two of you, his eyes sparkling with excitement and his mouth crooked upward into a grin. "You said you never ice skated before," he told you, a matter-of-fact tone of his voice. You looked at the setup behind him, now understanding what was going on. "You did all of this for me?" you asked him. He nodded his head and took your hands into his. "Of course, I'd do anything to see you happy, my love," he said. He kissed your hand and then began leading you over to a place you could sit down. There were two pairs of ice skates waiting for the two of you. He helped you sit down and then took off your boots for you, before putting the skate onto your feet. Once he'd done that, he did the same to his own feet. Once he was done, he stood up on his feet expertly, then reached down to help you stand onto your feet. Your legs wobbled at first, but he never let go. He led you over to the ice, patiently waiting for you to take the first step onto the ice. You wobbled at first, which caused him to tighten his grip on you. He stayed in front of you, holding onto your arms tightly as he skated backwards, guiding you around the ice. You watched his feet work, trying to get a feel for how to skate on your own. Even when he noticed you getting the hang of it, he never let you go. He looked down at your feet, smiling gently. "You're getting kind of good at this, my love," he told you. You smiled widely at him, trying to stay focused on your footwork. But the lights bouncing off of his face and the look of his eyes, not to mention the crooked smile he held, it all distracted you. Your foot slipped from underneath, causing you to fall forwards into Todoroki. He caught you, falling backwards onto his back. Your head rested gently on his chest, which after a moment started shaking. You looked up at him in shock, a smile on his face as his arms sprawled out. He looked up at the sky. You finally realized he was laughing. You stared at him in shock and wonder. You never heard his laugh before. It was low, gentle rumble at first, but it slowly turned into an uncontrollable, loud, genuine laugh. You stared at him as he brought his hand to his mouth, covering it as he still laughed. You smiled, feeling a laugh form in your chest as well. "What's so funny?" you asked him, almost laughing. He shook his head, his laugh calming down as he brought his arms to wrap around you, sighing contentedly as he looked. His face turned serious as he looked at you. "I love you so much," he whispers. You stared down at him as you processed what he said. He loved you. "Shoto, Whoa, are we interrupting?" You looked out to see Denki and Kirishima. Kirishima wore a smirk on his face, while Denki looked like he was blushing. "Oh, shut up," you mumbled, and then stood to your feet to help Todoroki back up. That's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed. That was adorable, by the way. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, and have a Merry Christmas, everyone. Bye!